They called me barren, until God answered me with success, a child, and the truth. The first time my mother-in-law called me barren, it wasn't even in anger. It was said casually, like stating the weather. We were seated in their suburban home in Plano, Texas, sunlight pouring through the wide windows, warming everyone except me. I remember gripping my teacup, so tightly my hands trembled. "Elizabeth is a good woman," she said, eyes fixed on my womb, not my face. "But a tree that doesn't bear fruit eventually gets cut down." Everyone laughed. Everyone except me. My husband, Daniel Stevens, sat beside me. Silent. Motionless. Ashamed, but not brave enough to defend me. That word followed me everywhere after that day. Barren. At family dinners. Church gatherings. Even whispered prayers disguised as concern. I had cried in hospital bathrooms in Dallas, in parking lots in Fort Worth, in the shower where my sobs mixed with running water so Daniel wouldn't hear. Doctors said nothing was wrong. Unexplained infertility, they called it. But his family had already diagnosed me. Then the suggestion started. Maybe Daniel needs another option. Maybe God wants him to try again. With someone else. I felt myself slowly erased. Reduced to a womb that hadn't yet spoken. And the most painful part? The man who vowed to love me for better or worse was beginning to listen. That was the moment I realized betrayal doesn't always come loudly. Sometimes it arrives quietly, wrapped in smiles and scripture. And it was just beginning. Before I continue, please subscribe to my channel to see more interesting stories. Thank you. I found out about the meeting by accident. Daniel had left his laptop open on the kitchen counter in our Frisco, Texas apartment. I wasn't snooping. I was just trying to turn off the buzzing email notification that wouldn't stop. The subject line froze my breath. Family discussion. Daniel's future. My name wasn't included. I clicked. His mother. His aunt. His older brother. All discussing my replacement like a business transaction. She's had 6 years. We can't let Daniel's lineage end. There's a young woman at church. Healthy, prayerful, fertile. Fertile. I sat on the floor as the words blurred, my heart pounding like it was trying to escape my chest. They had already planned it. Introductions. Timelines. Even prayers thanking God in advance. When Daniel came home, I asked him directly, "Is your family trying to get you to marry another woman?" He didn't deny it. "They mean well," he said softly. "They just want what's best." I laughed then. A broken sound. "So, I'm not what's best." He didn't answer. That night, I slept facing the wall. And somewhere between heartbreak and clarity, something inside me hardened, not with bitterness, but with resolve. If they thought my value ended at my womb, they had no idea who they were dealing with. They had underestimated me. And that would be their greatest mistake. The day Daniel chose his family over me happened in Atlanta, Georgia, of all places. We were there for a church conference, 3 days meant to restore marriages. The irony still burns. On the second night, his mother called him into the hotel hallway. I watched through the cracked door as she spoke in hushed urgency, her hands moving dramatically. When he returned, his eyes looked distant. Decided. "We need to talk," he said. I already knew. He told me his family wanted him to take a second wife, spiritually, though the law wouldn't recognize it. A woman who could give him children. I could remain if I accepted my place. I felt my chest tighten. So, I become the wife without a future? Silence. I packed my bags that night. In the hotel mirror, mascara streaked down my face, but beneath the tears was something new. A woman awakening. When I left, Daniel didn't chase me. He just whispered, "I hope you understand." I didn't, but I understood something else. Love without respect is just slow destruction. And I was done destroying myself. I moved to Phoenix, Arizona, with 2 suitcases and a heart full of unanswered prayers. No family nearby, no husband, just heat, loneliness, and the echo of every insult I had swallowed over the years. At night, I cried until sleep took me. By day, I worked. I took a job at a small consulting firm. Nothing glamorous, but I poured myself into it. Every spreadsheet, every presentation, every late night became therapy. Pain sharpened me. Within a year, I was promoted. Within 2, I was leading projects across California and Nevada. I stopped answering Daniel's calls. I started answering my calling. One evening, as I stood on my apartment balcony overlooking the Phoenix skyline, I placed a hand on my stomach, not in desperation, but in surrender. If motherhood isn't my story, I whispered, then let purpose be. The peace that followed was unfamiliar, but it felt like freedom. Little did I know, God wasn't done writing my story. He was just turning the page. The call came on a Tuesday morning. I was in Los Angeles, finalizing a major client deal that would triple my income. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. Elizabeth Stevens? A gentle voice asked. Yes. This is Dr. Reynolds. We have your test results. My heart skipped. You're pregnant. The room spun. Pregnant. After years of being called barren. After the humiliation. After the abandonment. I slid down the wall, tears streaming, laughter breaking through sobs. That night, I sat alone on my hotel bed, hands on my stomach, whispering promises to a life I hadn't expected. I didn't call Daniel. I didn't tell his family. Some victories are meant to be carried in silence, because when the truth finally arrives, it hits harder. I found out Daniel remarried through Facebook. A smiling photo, white dress, church altar, location tagged, Birmingham, Alabama. Her name was Rachel Moore. She was everything his family had prayed for. Young, soft-spoken, and introduced proudly as a woman who would finally give us grandchildren. That sentence cut deeper than any knife. Friends called to check on me, disguising curiosity as concern. Have you seen her? She looks sweet. At least Daniel will be happy now. Happy. Meanwhile, I sat in my Los Angeles apartment, rubbing my still flat belly, protecting a miracle no one knew about. Rachel got pregnant within 4 months. His mother posted scripture-filled captions praising God for restoration. I turned off my phone and cried, not because I wanted Daniel back, but because I remembered how disposable I had been. Yet something strange happened. As they celebrated her fertility, my career soared. I signed a consulting deal with a healthcare startup in San Jose, one that would quietly put me in a different financial universe. While they were counting babies, I was building an empire. And for the first time, I realized they replaced the wrong woman. Success has a sound. It sounds like silence when people who once mocked you suddenly don't know what to say. At a leadership conference in Chicago, I delivered a keynote on business resilience. After the applause, a familiar voice froze me. Elizabeth. I turned. Daniel's cousin. The same one who once said, "Some women are just meant to support, not produce." Her eyes widened as she scanned my designer suit, the confidence in my posture. I didn't know you were doing all this. I smiled politely. Neither did you care to know. Within weeks, my name started circulating back into that family. Whispers. Questions. Comparisons. Have you seen Elizabeth lately? She's doing very well. She's glowing. Daniel called. I didn't answer. Not because I was angry, but because I was finally at peace. Meanwhile, Rachel's pregnancy became complicated. Hospital visits replaced baby showers. Prayers grew desperate. Life has a way of humbling people who think they control destinies. And mine was quietly aligning. Pregnancy is lonely when no one knows. In Scottsdale, Arizona, I attended prenatal appointments alone, heard heartbeats alone, bought baby clothes alone. And yet, I had never felt stronger. I talked to my child every night. They didn't want us, I whispered. But we are enough. My doctor smiled during one visit. Low stress, healthy baby. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. Low stress. That made me laugh. If only she knew the storms I had survived. One evening, I received a message from Daniel. I heard you're doing well. I'm happy for you. I stared at the screen. He didn't know I was carrying life. He didn't know his family's greatest shame was growing inside me. I typed nothing. Some truths don't need announcements. They need timing. And mine was coming. Rachel lost the baby. The news spread quietly through church circles in Alabama. This time, there were no celebratory posts. Just prayer requests and silence. Daniel's mother called me for the first time in years. Her voice cracked. "Elizabeth, we are going through a hard time."
We.
As if I had ever been included. "I'm sorry to hear that," I said calmly. There was a pause. "You always had a good heart," she added. I closed my eyes. Good hearts are often mistaken for weak ones. After the call, I placed my hand on my stomach, feeling a gentle flutter. Life was cruel, but it was also precise. What they lost publicly, I was carrying privately, and the balance was shifting. The invitation arrived by mail. A family Thanksgiving gathering in Nashville, Tennessee. My name printed neatly on the envelope. "Daniel would really like you to come," his mother wrote. "We are family, after all." I laughed softly. Family. I stood in front of the mirror that night, my pregnancy finally visible beneath my dress. They had called me barren. They had replaced me. They had erased me. Now, they wanted me back, because life had humbled them. Yes. Not for reconciliation. Not for revenge. But because the truth, when revealed at the right moment, is the most powerful justice of all. The Stevens family house in Nashville, Tennessee looked exactly the same. Same white columns. Same carefully trimmed hedges. Same place where my dignity had once been stripped politely and prayerfully. As I stepped out of my car, the autumn air brushed against my face. My pregnancy showed now. Undeniable, unapologetic. The front door opened slowly. Daniel froze when he saw me. Not because I looked familiar, but because I looked transformed. His eyes dropped to my stomach, then back to my face. His lips parted, but no sound came out. "Elizabeth," he whispered. I smiled, calm and composed. "Hello, Daniel." Inside, conversations died mid-sentence. Forks paused halfway to mouths. His mother's smile stiffened as her eyes followed his, landing exactly where I knew they would. My belly. "Welcome," she said carefully, stepping forward. "You look well." I nodded. "I am." Rachel wasn't there. I later learned she was resting. But her absence didn't soften the tension. It sharpened it. Every step I took into that living room felt like reclaiming stolen ground. I didn't come back as the woman they discarded. I came back as proof they were wrong. Dinner was torture for them. Plates clinked. Glasses refilled. No one spoke directly to me, but everyone watched. Finally, Daniel's aunt broke. "So, Elizabeth," she said, forcing a smile. How have you been?" I wiped my mouth gently before answering. "I've been blessed." Daniel swallowed hard. "And the pregnancy?" she continued, voice trembling. "Is it?" "Yes," I said softly.
Mean it.
The room erupted into chaos. "What do you mean yours? When did? How?" His mother stood abruptly. "Daniel," she snapped. "Did you know about this?" He shook his head, stunned.
No.
"I swear." I turned to him then. "I found out after you chose them over me," I said calmly. "After you let me walk away in Atlanta." His face crumbled. "I didn't know," he whispered. "Elizabeth, I would've." I raised my hand.
No.
"You would have done exactly what you did." Silence swallowed the room. Truth doesn't scream. It sits calmly and lets everyone choke on it. After dinner, Daniel's brother pulled me aside. "I heard about your firm," he said. "Something big in California?" I nodded. "We just expanded into San Francisco and Seattle." His eyes widened. Later, his mother joined us. "We didn't realize you were doing so well," she said quietly. "We assumed I'd fail without your son?" I finished gently. Her lips pressed together. I wasn't gloating. I didn't need to. Success had already done the talking. When they learned I now earned more than Daniel, more than their entire household combined, their respect arrived too late to be meaningful. That night, Daniel stood outside my guest room door. "I'm sorry," he said, "for everything." I placed my hand on the door, but didn't open it. "I forgive you," I said. "But forgiveness doesn't mean return. Some doors close quietly, and stay close." The next morning, his mother asked to speak privately. We sat on the back porch, early sunlight painting long shadows across the wooden floor. "We were wrong," she said, tears in her eyes. "We pushed you out." "Yes," I replied. She swallowed. "Rachel may not be able to carry again." I said nothing. "And Daniel," she continued, "he's been miserable." I finally looked at her. "You broke my marriage because you were afraid of bloodlines," I said calmly. "Now you're afraid of loneliness."
She cried. I didn't.
Pain ages differently when you've already survived it. Before I left Nashville, they made the offer. "We want you back," his mother said. "As family. As Daniel's wife." Daniel knelt. Actually knelt.
"Please," he begged.
"Come home." I looked down at the man who once let me go so easily. "I already built a home," I said softly. "And you are not in it." I walked away. With my child. With my peace. And with a future no one could steal. I ran into Rachel by accident in Birmingham, Alabama. I had flown in for a women's leadership luncheon. As I walked toward my car, I heard my name spoken softly, without bitterness. "Elizabeth." She stood there, thinner than I remembered, eyes tired but sincere. "I wanted to say I'm sorry," she said. "I didn't know everything. I was told you were done, that you had moved on." I studied her face. She wasn't my enemy. "They used us both," I said gently, "just in different ways." Tears spilled down her cheeks. "I feel like I was brought in to fix something broken, and when I couldn't, I became the problem." I nodded. That's how systems built on control work. For the first time, I felt no anger toward her. Only clarity. We hugged briefly. Two women discarded by expectations neither of us created. I drove away lighter. Some closure doesn't come from confrontation. It comes from understanding. A month later, my company was featured in a national business magazine. The headline read, "From Divorce to Dominance, How Elizabeth Stevens Built a Multi-million-dollar Firm Against the Odds." They mentioned my pregnancy, not as scandal, but as strength. My inbox exploded. Messages from women.
Pastors.
Even people from Daniel's church. And then came the calls from his family. They wanted to clarify things, to share their side. But the truth had already gone ahead of them. For years, they had painted me as barren and broken. Now the world saw me as resilient and rising. Narratives are powerful, and once you lose control of them, you feel naked. Daniel's firm lost a major contract. Guess who acquired it? My company. When we crossed paths at a boardroom in Denver, Colorado, his hands shook as he extended them. "Elizabeth," he said quietly. "Congratulations." I shook his hand politely. "Thank you." Nothing more.
No insults. No triumph.
Just distance. Later, I learned Rachel had left him. Not out of spite, but exhaustion. His family home grew quiet. The laughter replaced by regret. They had gambled everything on bloodlines. And lost peace instead. I wrote Daniel a letter one night in Sedona, Arizona. I thanked him for letting me go. For showing me what love without courage looks like. For freeing me to become more. I never sent it. Some healing doesn't need witnesses. I folded the letter and placed it in a drawer. The past no longer needed a response. As my due date approached, his mother sent a message. "Please," she wrote, "let us meet. We want to make things right." I agreed, on my terms. Public place. Witnesses. Truth without drama. We chose Central Park, New York City. Because some stories deserve an open sky. And some revelations deserve an audience. Central Park in New York City was alive with laughter, joggers, and children chasing pigeons. Life. Unbothered. Daniel's parents sat across from me on a bench, hands folded like people waiting for judgment. You look radiant, his mother said quietly. I am at peace, I replied. Daniel arrived late. He always did. His eyes lingered on my stomach, on the life growing where they once saw nothing. We were wrong, his father finally said. We treated you like a vessel, not a woman. I nodded. And vessels break. Silence followed. People passed us, unaware that an entire family legacy was collapsing on that bench. Daniel cleared his throat. There's something you should know, he said, voice shaking. Rachel, she's filed for divorce. No one gasped. No one celebrated. Pain isn't entertainment when you've matured past revenge. I never wanted 2 wives, he continued. I wanted children. And I lost everything chasing that. I looked at him, then really looked. You lost everything the moment you let others define your marriage, I said calmly. His mother reached for my hand. Please, she whispered. Let us be part of the child's life. That was the moment. The moment they expected mercy to look like return. I stood up slowly, my body heavy with life, my spirit light with certainty. No, I said, gently, clearly. Not angrily, not proudly, just truth. I won't raise my child in a family that values bloodlines over character, I continued. But I also won't raise them with bitterness. They stared at me, stunned. You taught me something important, I added. That love without protection is not love. Daniel's shoulders shook. I didn't comfort him. Some lessons must sit alone. I moved to Santa Monica, California before my due date. Ocean air, long walks, quiet mornings. When my child was born, I held them close and whispered, You are enough.
No ser namuars.
No family politics, just love. Daniel sent a message asking to see the baby. I didn't reply, because peace is not cruelty. It's boundaries. Today, I sit on my balcony, overlooking the Pacific. My company employs over 100 people. My child laughs freely. My heart is full. They once called me barren. But barren doesn't mean empty. It means undisturbed soil, waiting for the right season. And when my season came, it produced more than they could ever imagine. Sometimes, the greatest revenge is becoming whole. And the greatest justice is never returning to the place that broke you. Thank you for listening to my story. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share my videos. Thank you.